Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Money 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining us for this segment, we have Shachar Bialick. He is the founder and CEO of Curve, and we're here to discuss wearable tech. It is great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
Thank you very much.
And let's talk about wearable tech. It seems to be picking up steam across the globe. Where does Curve fit in that ecosystem?
So, first is to understand what Curve does and what's the challenge that Wearable has today, so we can see how we solve that for them. Curve has built an operating system for money that basically sits on top of all the other networks and all the other banks, and that allows us to create full fungibility across space, currencies, accounts, and form factors. The wedge for customers is all the cards in one, double dip rewards. We amassed 4.5 million customers in the UK and Europe, and we have a small customer base in the US for the past year. The biggest problem for wearables is that the NFC on the wearable device, whether it's a Swatch Pay or German Pay, is that they need the banks to integrate with them in order for that to work. So if, for example, I'm a Chase customer in Europe and I have a Swatch Pay and Chase did not integrate to Swatch, I cannot load my Chase card to Swatch. Now, Swatch and German Pay and all the other long tail of wearables, it's about 15-20 million customers. But the banks need to integrate to each and every one of those wearables, which is hundreds of devices. And if you look at a specific market, for a specific bank, France, BNP Paribas, they're talking about 200, 300,000 customers. So the amount of investment required for the bank to invest in connecting to that wearable doesn't worthwhile the impact it will get. So most of the wearables globally do not have good coverage of banks. So what we started to do as of last year, we started to work with those wearables to enable them to work with all banks. And that basically means that now as a customer, I can load all my cards to Curve, put Curve as a default card on my wearable device, and now all my cards work with any wearable I have.
So it seems as if in today's market, for the most part, you have passive wearable, whether it's your watch, whether it's your ring, you can only go from one card to the other. So if you want the option to switch, and Curve makes that option accessible, is it available to everyone yet?
It's available to everyone in the markets we operate, so
right.
Anyone in the UK, anyone in Europe, and the US is under a wait list right now, but as soon as we launch the US, you will be able to also do it in the US.
Right, so for example, I have an Apple Watch on now, you can use Apple Pay and pay for things. This will allow another payment method to come on board.
For example, you're an American customer using Apple,
right.
Majority of the major banks, Chase, Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, are connected to Apple.
Right.
But you have about 8,000 banks in the US, so the long tail is not supported by Apple. So that's one. Another example is you may be a PayPal customer and you may use PayPal credit and you want to use PayPal credit in store. This is not connected to any wearable. So by connecting Curve to your wearable device, Curve now enables you to connect those long tail of banks that don't support Apple Pay, including other payment methods, such as an example, PayPal. And aside from the enablement, you then get all those supercharging activities. I can, for example, go back in time. I made a transaction on card A, I want to make it on card B because I get more rewards. I can do that with Curve right now, something I cannot do before that with the likes of Apple Pay. As I travel abroad, I want to save money on FX, hidden FX fees. Curve eliminates those FX fees and they make your card work in France exactly the same cost it would cost you as if you paid it in US dollars here in Vegas.
Let's step back for a minute here. What's the difference between passive wearables and smart devices?
Between passive wearables
and smart devices.
When you say smart devices, you mean?
Like, is there a difference if you use your phone to pay for something versus a wearable?
It all works the same.
Right.
It all works based on NFC. NFC is a passive activity because it doesn't take a lot of battery.
Right.
Yeah,
because for US customers, this is all new concept for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we are still clearly a little bit behind when it comes to modern uses of fintech.
So
for us,
the US is not so behind. It's different.
It's different. Let's put it like that. I mean, clearly, we have legacy banking infrastructure and so forth.
Yeah.
We're still using cards, paying with Apple Pay in your phone and wearable devices. It's something relatively new for us.
Yeah.
So that's where that question comes in.
All the devices, whether it's Apple Pay, which I guess the smartest you would find, the smart watches, down to a more stupid watch like Swatch, which shows you just a regular analog watch, but there has an NFC chip inside. They all work in exactly the same, or even a ring, all works exactly the same. There's an NFC chip inside, and behind the NFC chip, there's a digital card hidden. It's exactly the same as your physical card, but in a digital manifestation sitting behind that NFC chip.
Right.
And it's the same for any device. It's just if you have more of a smartwatch, you're able to use the interface to change between cards
Got it.
and see that transaction. Whereas with the ring, you won't be able to do anything with the ring. You will have a companion app, which is either going to be Curve or another companion app you would use on your actual smartphone.
So what's next for Curve in its wearable markets?
So we're really the only player who can do that thanks to our patents and the unique paytech we built, and it's great. So we'll continue to deliver and support those wearable technologies to go to market. For our perspective, it's a great acquisition channel and a great value proposition to customers because customers want to go with less. They want to leave home with just one phone, and the phone hopefully the key and your card. And similarly with wearables, you want to be very minimalist. So by supporting those, we'll be able to go faster. But wearables is just one market we are focusing on to grow. There's many others of similar type. For example, I have a similar problem with Samsung Pay. So Samsung Pay, I see you're an Apple aficionado like me, but Samsung Pay, to make it work with all your cards, all the banks needs to partner with them. And Samsung was not able to deliver bank integration like Apple did. So today, for example, in the UK, when you're trying to load cards to Samsung Pay and trying to connect your banking system, you actually have Curve pre-installed and you're loading it into Curve because Curve has this unique capability of 100% coverage. So we're using those different partnerships to grow to the market, and that allows us to go very, very quickly for very, very low cost while solving problems for everyone. Win-win-win.
All right, Shachar, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me for Money 2020. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.